Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be doing the natural look that you saw in my very first video. That's why I'm barefaced, and it had to be refilmed because something happened with it and it was acting like the video was all weird. But so this is just going to be a very natural, neutral look that you can wear any day of the week, that I do wear all the time. So all right, let's get started. They're so cute. I love them. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I am going to go in, we're going to start with the eyes, and I'm going to go in with the Photo Focus Eyeshadow Primer by Wet n Wild. So just put a little bit of that. We're going to put that all over our lid and a little up into our crease. So for eyes today, we are going to be working in the Wet n Wild. So for our eyes today, we're going to be working in the Wet n Wild All Naturel palette, and this one is 753A Bare Necessities. So it is just a very natural, neutral palette. It's got some really great shades in here, and everything in this look is going to be from this palette today. So I'm just going to start off with a Real Techniques Essential Crease Brush, and we're going to dip into this very first shade right here. And we're going to take that and put that, make sure you tap off your brush, you do get a lot of fallout with this. We're going to apply that just all over our lid and somewhat up into the crease. And what this is going to do for us is it's just going to give us a really good base. So dipping into the dipping into the shadow to do the other side. Now to start transitioning, and we're going to use our first shade here, it's going to the same brush. Don't have to change brushes because that shade's so light it's not going to come across anywhere else. We're going to take this very first brown right here. We're going to pick a little bit up on the brush. And I mean just a little bit. We're going to tap it off, and we're going to just start gently working this into the crease. So now we're going to move on to the next darker shade, which is this darker brown. And again, the same thing, picking up same brush, tap it off just a little bit, and working that into the crease and bringing that all the way across. We're going to switch over to a flat shader brush. This is the Real Techniques brush. And we're going to take this second color right here, this light, it's like a nice light pinky color. We're going to pick up a little bit of that on the brush, tap our brush, and we're going to pat that right all over the lid. All right, now we're going to move over to this shade. It's a little bit more like an icy type pink shade. I really like this guy. Same brush, just going to pick up some of that. Now I am going to take a little bit of my finishing spray. This is the NYX finishing spray, and I'm just going to spray my brush to get it a little bit more pigmented and wet it down just a little bit. And we're going to go over that same part of the lid. Okay, so this is where we are. This is what we're looking like. Now, I want to go back to our crease, and we're going to deepen that up just a tiny bit more. We're going to go in with the last shade, that black. So just take a tiny, tiny bit on your brush, and right in the outer corner, just get that deepness. Just going to take that same brush, wipe it off on a cloth really quick, and take this brown again. Actually, the first brown, sorry, this one right here, this guy. Take a little bit, tap off our brush, and then we're just gonna blend for a final blend to blend that out. Okay, so we're definitely getting there. Anything else to our eyes, we're gonna go ahead and do the rest of our face. So I'm gonna be going in with actually 2 primers that I use. So I'm going to use the NYX Hydratouch, and that's gonna be everywhere except for on my chin and my nose. And for my chin and my nose, I'm gonna be using the NYX Pore Filler. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to let that sit for just a second so it can really sort of just sink into my skin and set onto my skin, and then we'll be right back moving on to the rest of our face. Okay, so as you can see, my face is very red. So for me, I actually have to go in and conceal first because I want to cover up all of this redness that I have going on my face, as opposed to most people who are going to go in and conceal after they put down foundation. Now it is up to you, but for me, because I have a lot to cover in a large area, I do go ahead and conceal first. So the first thing I'm going to start with is my NYX HD Studio concealer in green. And I'm going to put that everywhere that I have redness. So on my nose, on my cheeks, on my chin, right above my eyebrows, and a little bit in the middle of my forehead. I'm going to be taking my NYX sponge today. I'm going to be using this guy to go ahead and blend out my concealer. So I'm going to use the the round butt side. So especially for my eyebrows, I do actually tend not to pat too much. I sort of wipe it and then I sort of feather it up. And the same for my nose, or the top of my nose. So as you can see, most of my redness is kind of gone. And that's good. And the green will give it that really nice base that it needs, that my skin needs, I should say, in order to pick up that foundation, really cover up all that redness. So now I'm going to be going in with my Wet n Wild Coverall Correcting Palette, and you do get 4 shades. You get a white, which is like a highlight, a green, which is for redness, so then a purple, which corrects yellow, and then a yellow, it's like a yellow orange gold color, which corrects out for purple. So what I'm going to be doing today is I'm going to be taking my Real Techniques concealer brush. I'm going to pick up a little bit of that orangey yellow. Now I'm going to do my under eyes because they are quite dark. They are that way naturally for me. Then I'm going to take my same damp blending sponge from NYX. And I'm gonna really just sort of pat that in under my eye. And you can see already the difference that it's made. For foundation, I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild Photo Focus Foundation, and this is in Nude Ivory. That's my color. Well, that's as close as it gets. And what I really like about this foundation is it has like a little spatula. I'm going to take the same sponge that we've been using. It's a great sponge. You can use it for everything. And we're just going to pat in our foundation. Now this is more of like a medium coverage foundation. So now that we've done that, I'm going to go in and with the last little bit of concealer slash highlight, I'm going to use the NYX HD Studio in Fair. And I'm going to go under my eye. Okay, so I've done the triangle on this side and just draw it on the other. And I'm going to put a little concealer right on my chin, down my nose, a little on my forehead, a little over here, because this spot just doesn't like to get covered. And using this same damp sponge, the same sponge, oh itchy, we're going to go in and just, sorry, dog. If you can hear that noise, like walking around and that clicking on the floor, that is my lovely puppies. They've decided to join me today. Okay. And just pat that out. Oh, I have a crying puppy. I have a crying puppy. Perfect, beautiful. So now I'm just going to do two things. So first, I'm just going to be using, what am I going to use here? I think I'm just going to use this Real Techniques contour brush. And I'm going to be using today the, if I can open it, the E.L.F setting powder, which seems to have been accidentally left open. And I'm just going to pick up a whole bunch of that setting powder on my brush. And I'm going to set that whole under eye area. So dip into your powder, which I have in here. Set that under eye area. Just gonna put a little more on the side. Okay. Now I just like to let that sit. Let me close this so this does not happen again. All right, so closed up my setting powder, thank God. So I just like to let that sit for just like a couple of seconds. And I make sure I tap off my brush, and then I go ahead and sweep away any extra powder that may happen to be there. Okay, so for me, I cannot leave the house without putting powder on my face. So I'm going to go ahead with the NYX No Filter powder, and this is in Porcelain. And I'm just going to take a big powder brush like this. This is the Target brand Face Values powder brush. And I am just going to pick up some of that powder and just lightly dust it across my face and along my chin. because I like to just quickly always put down a little powder before I do anything else. And I mean just a tiny bit. Now I'm going to move on to contour. I'm going to be using the Wet n Wild MegaGlo contouring palette in 749A Dulce de Leche. This is a really good shade for me. I really, really like this one. And I'm going to pick it up my Wet n Wild contour brush. And I'm going to dip right into this side. There is a bit of kick up with this, so do be careful. And we're not picking up a whole heck of a lot. Tap off your brush. And we're going to go right into the hollow of the cheek. We're just drawing on our contour. I'm going to go along my jawline. One a little high. Contour my forehead. And then I'm going to pick up some powder from the highlight side, tap my brush off. I'm going to go down my nose, across my forehead. I'm actually going to go underneath here to sort of just separate that contour line. And that's pretty much the contour done. What I'm going to do here is take a flat top brush. This is also from Wet n Wild. And I'm just going to gently work in that contour color because this is a very natural look. We're not putting much contour on. I'm just working that in here, working that along here. Now, what I'm going to do is take my bronzer that I don't know where I put it. Oh, there it is, right in front of my face. Burp. And I'm going to take, this is going to be the Physicians Formula Butter Bronzer. Again, if it opens, geez. And this one is in just light bronzer. And I love, love, love this. It smells amazing, and I mean amazing. And I'm going to just take that same flat top brush that we used to blend everything out. I'm going to pick up a little, just a little bit of this guy. And just warm up my skin a little bit. Now for my favorite part of all time. I love to highlight. Absolutely love to highlight. Oh, no, I missed a step. Blush. So for this, I got so excited about getting to the highlighter step, I forgot the blush. So for this look, I'm going to use the Milani No. 5 Luminoso. I absolutely love this color. I use a stipple brush for this. It's like a duo fiber, so these guys are a little bit longer than the darker fibers, and I'm going to pat a little bit of that, and I mean just like a little bit because this is really pigmented. And I'm going to dust that across my cheeks. Nice, healthy, pretty glow. Now, last but not least, my favorite part, now that we can get to it, I'm going to take the Wet n Wild fan brush. I love fan brush for highlighting. You can use any kind of brush. There is a... Where did it go? There's a great highlighting brush. Here it is. There's a great highlighting brush. This is by E.L.F. And this is their highlighting brush right here. And it's got this kind of shape and it's sort of tapered. And this is a great brush for highlighting and also for really packing on and concentrating color. But I really personally just prefer a fan brush. And I'm going to be dipping into the Flower Beauty highlight palette. You've got a beautiful champagne, a pink, and like a va-va-voom gold. Now this one doesn't have any kind of name, but that's okay. There's a lot of kick up on this, so make sure you definitely tap off your brush. And we're going to hit just the cheekbone. Okay, now I like to take my brush and go in like this and just go down the nose. Now, as you can see, my nose sticks out quite far, so I tend not to highlight my nose. You can if you like, but it's completely up to you. I do a little bit on my forehead, a little bit on my chin, just a tiny bit, and then hit that Cupid's bow. And I like to get this guy really glossy, really shiny. All right, so that is our face done, except for setting spray, which we will do at the very, very end. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and I'm going to finish up my eyes. I'm going to do my brows and then I will be right back. Wow, I'm back and I have brows. All right, so now moving on, what I'm going to be doing, you can do liner. I'm not going to do liner. I'm not going to do anything under the eyes. So for me, my favorite thing to do for my lashes is I'm going to actually prime them. And I love the Photo Focus Lash Primer by Wet n Wild. I mean, it is fan-freaking-tastic. And I mean, it just does so much for my lashes. So I'm going to go ahead and just apply this. Making sure you really do coat all of your lashes. All right, now that my lashes are primed, I'm gonna go in with the Wet n Wild Megawear mascara. This guy right here. I like this one. I mean, it's not fabulous, but it's not crap either. So, and I do have some other ones that I have, but I just didn't want to go ahead and open everything all at the same time. So I'm going to just go ahead and apply my mascara. So because this is a very natural look, and I did get a spot at the top, because this is a very natural look, I will not be doing my bottom lashes. That is completely up to you. If you want to go ahead and do your top lashes or bottom lashes, feel free to go right ahead and do that. It's completely up to you. All right, now that our lashes are done, we can move on to the last step, which is our lips. I've opted for something just very pink, very sort of nude, and that's going to be the Wet n Wild Mega Last Liquid Catsuit. And this is in Rebel Rose. I really like this. I'm not going to be using a lip liner today because I find that this really doesn't need it at all. So as you can see, I did a little boo-boo, a little mistake. What I'm going to actually do is I'm going to go in with that same concealer brush that we used earlier. Oh, God! What is wrong? Okay, so as you can see, I've got this little guy right here. And I'm just going to use the edge of my nail to pick that off. And then I'm going to go in. I just went in with my concealer brush from earlier, and I went ahead and I just fixed that up so it's nice and smooth. Now, I find that this liquid catsuit really lasts all day. It doesn't go anywhere. It's pretty budge proof. That's why I don't wear it with a lip liner. Now, I know that you guys have been staring at this the whole time and it's been bugging the crap out of you. So what I've got going on here is I don't really know. I'm going over to the dermatologist to have it looked at. It does look like a rash, but it doesn't go away, and it also comes with a lot of eczema for me. So that is that. So last but not least, last thing of the day, I'm going to be using the NYX Dewy Finish long-lasting setting spray. You can go ahead and use the matte one, use the Milani one, use the Wet n Wild one. It's completely up to you, but this is the one I'm going to be using. Oh, it smells disgusting. But I do go ahead and I just use that to set my whole face. I look super wet and super greasy at the moment, and I'm going to actually add a little more. Oh, that one went in my ear. Ooh. Okay, so that's our completed look. It looks so great. It's super natural, and I absolutely love it. So we just take out this guy and fluffies our hair a little bit, and we look all pretty and pretty. Okay, so somewhere on the screen you should see my social media handle. I really just do Instagram. I do a little bit of Snapchat, but not a whole lot of Snapchatting. But it is, you know, they are the same. So go ahead and, you know, meet me over there if you like. I don't have to totally like space. And then, of course, if you haven't already, please go ahead and subscribe by clicking on the subscribe button down below. And then hit that little bell icon for notifications about when I post new content. And then last but not least, give this video a big old thumbs up, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye, everybody.